Roblox Pressure's Endless mode is certainly challenging, but by the end of this video, Endless will be easy for you. Does Endless feel like an impossible barrier for you right now? Well, you're about to find out why it's not nearly as bad as you think. In this video, I have 25 diverse, valuable tips for you, all of which are valuable tools which makes Endless much easier, ranging from pre-run planning tips to crucial Endless knowledge, endgame tips, advanced strategies, and more. Everything you need is in this video. You won't want to miss these tips, especially not the advanced tips towards the end of the video, because they will help you greatly to make each and every attempt at Endless much easier, regardless of what your Endless goals are. Let's get straight into it, shall we? You may be asking, why should I even care to do Endless? Well, there are a lot of badges that make it worth your while. First off, you have the Door 100, Door 250, and Door 500 badges, which are the obvious interesting badges to shoot for, but there's even more than just that. Death Angel, who we recovered later in the video, only spawns in Endless. This used to be an admin-only entity, which means it is an elusive and now exclusive entity that you can only see in Endless. Endless is also the only place where there's enough time, doors, and opportunity to get the following badges: Diminishing Returns and Made of Steel. That's 6 total badges there that are exclusive to this one mode, which doesn't include the other opportunities to go for other badges you may not already have. If you're going for all badges, this mode is absolutely worth your time. I'd say to treat the doors badges as milestones and get the rest of them over time. Going into this, you must understand that Endless is far from quick. Literally every single badge you can go for that is Endless exclusive, aside from Door 100 and Door 250 badges I suppose, take a minimum of 2 hours, sometimes less or even more depending on your playstyle, but it is never a brief experience. I feel like going for Endless only goes one of 2 ways. Either you get it incredibly quickly and it's easy, or it takes you forever, with no in between. I was unfortunate enough to be part of the second group. I pray most of us end up in the fast group, but you won't know until you start attempts, right? Before even starting, you must go into it with a good mindset. Understand that this is likely to be a long grind, but try to enjoy it along the way. A smart suggestion is to set multiple achievable goals. For instance, your main goal could be Endless 500, but you can also set a goal to get as many unique secret rooms as you can. That way, you're not getting too discouraged if you die, because every run is progress towards at least one of your goals. Don't get demotivated fast, as that will almost guarantee a run killer for you, and a guarantee that you won't get many badges for a while. Go into it the right way. Before we get into the next tip, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way and helps me produce more guides for you guys, and it can help this video reach more people that can enjoy it. Thank you so much. You should not be ignoring the dead drop shop when starting runs. The most important thing is to choose your correct light source. Firstly, make sure that you have access to every single light source, or at least access to the ones that you want, so that way you're prepared. Then choose the one you want to take. There is no correct answer necessarily. The one you should choose depends on your playstyle. Do you dislike having to shake or recharge your light constantly? Flashlight is a good replacement then. Do you want to guarantee batteries aren't an issue and you don't mind constant recharging? Hand crank is your best friend there. Want to be extra goofy while also having a chance at a Necrobloxicon? Choose the gummy light. The choice is entirely yours, but choose one you're comfortable with and buy batteries if needed so you don't ever lack light. Also, make sure you understand the pros and the cons of each individual light source. For example, the gummy light barely lasts long at all before you have to recharge it, and the flashlight requires a lot of batteries in order to be truly functional. Understand these and make sure you adapt to them accordingly. Since attempts take so long, it's important to make sure you're not taking forever on attempts, which is where just rushing and not looting is best. But what if that isn't an ideal for you? It's important to balance looting versus just skipping everything. For instance, are you on your first couple of attempts and don't mind looting? Do it to be extra safe and to try and get research badges maybe. Or perhaps are you attempting Endless forever and you need to get it over with already? Definitely skip everything and go fast. Which you should do is entirely dependent on your situation. And plus, getting extra looting done isn't really a bad thing in case you get extra resources like sprints, medkits, code breaches, or the like. Endless never ends, but your resources do. Try and conserve as much as you can. Depending on your light source, you may not need to worry about that, but things like health, sprints, or code reaches run out fast. Preserve them for as long as you can to avoid having nothing in incredibly far rooms. This is especially relevant in Blackout, as Blackout or any endgame type door is where you really need your resources. Make sure that you have enough for that time, so depending on your playstyle, you're able to be prepared and don't end up being lost. Next, make sure to always hug lockers. If you're in Blackout, if it's a dark room, or if you have limited hearing for any reason, hug a locker. Hug them like your life depends on it, because guess what? It genuinely does. Just make sure to watch out for those fake lockers. As covered in my previous videos, avoid lockers with puddles under them or those who have outlined locker grates. Those are fake. For instance, in this clip from one of my Endless attempts, I passed by this locker which is fake without even having to waste time looking at it while I'm running from Pinky. This is due to me immediately seeing the puddle and not wasting any more time looking at it. Don't sleep on this strategy. Aside from hugging lockers, having your ears open for audio cues is imperative to your survival. I cannot emphasize it enough how essential this is to your success, especially if you're trying to go for 4-digit records. You have to have your audio up high, and preferably with headphones. If you're scared or nervous to have high volume due to jump scares, you can turn off PNG jump scares in the menus. There's genuinely no excuses. You need to be able to hear if a wall dweller spawns from a wall, if Pinky is coming, or the directions of certain entities like good people or candle bearers. If you, for whatever reason, can't do this or aren't willing, have a friend join you to call out audio cues for you. I consider this mandatory to succeeding in Endless regardless of your goal. Consider it the same way. Now, it's good to be extra careful in Endless so that you're always prepared, but you shouldn't be needlessly concerned about things that won't spawn. Keep in mind the following things that will never spawn in Endless. Grand Encounters, which includes all Searchlight Encounters, Firewall, and Abomination, never spawn in Endless, which means if you're struggling with them, Endless could be a good way to get used to the game before having to deal with Grand Encounters. Also, any airlock rooms don't spawn. This includes the Lucy Trench Bleeder segment, but it does not include the Mantle Extraction. Although this is not a traditional airlock room, this room type is the only exception. It does spawn in Endless still. The only unfortunate things that don't spawn would be the crystal. In other words, you can't add to your win count when doing Endless. Also, Sebastian's shop does not currently spawn in Endless either. There have been rumors that Seb's shop will later be available in Endless, but as of the Operation Heartburn update, the shop does not spawn here. Keep all of these things in mind so you do know what to expect. Don't get caught off guard during your first Endless attempts. The Ridge does spawn, but it's not what you'd expect. There is a new Endless room type which is literally just the Ridge, but its lights are all on and it does have light flickers if you're not in Blackout yet. There are still speakers which can detonate your PDG, and all of the room types are the same, but it's not your traditional Ridge experience. You can also get this room type multiple times in an Endless run, just like any other room type, such as admin rooms, the Dredge, or others. Keep this in mind. Sea Bunny training rooms are actually quite common in Endless. You should plan your Endless strategy around these room types. For instance, if you're going for the Necrobloxicon, bring something like a Gummy Light. If you want both imaginary friends, bring the red remote. Things like that. Make sure to study up on the trades as well so that you're prepared. You're very likely to get trading rooms multiple times in runs, which means you can have 6 or more opportunities to get the trades you're looking for. Just don't accidentally massacre the bunnies, please. You're not forced to do everything in one attempt to get most Endless badges. There are many ways to use revives at your disposal to make it easier to get each badge. Depending on your strategy, choose the best option. If you bring friends, for example, each friend can bring a defib, and if any defibs are used throughout the run, it's likely that you'll find more as the run progresses. For instance, I literally got 5 defibs in my Endless attempt, and I was playing solo, so I couldn't even use them, so make sure to use them if you're able. If you prefer, though, you can just have revive coins on hand. You can revive once per run with a revive coin, and with Robux, if you're desperate, you can revive again. Like I was. I died within 20 doors of door 500. I couldn't resist. You can also get free revives from Death Angel if you choose to allow him to spawn. More on that later. This can be a sneaky strategy to get healing if you need it. Either way, just be sure to come prepared. You're not forced to be perfect. You don't have to do Endless alone, and you probably shouldn't. As you've likely gathered already, there are many benefits to playing with others. Each individual person can buy 3 items from the Dead Drop shop, which means if you have 3 people in one run, that's 9 items you can buy before the run even starts. This is compared to only 3 that you can buy if you're alone. The difference is massive. Not to mention, with more people, you're more likely to hear crucial audio cues, and you're also more likely to notice landmines, tripwires, and the like. Not to mention, having more people makes many strategies available to you, some of which we will cover in the advanced tips section, so don't miss that. As you can see, you're kind of making it harder on yourself if you're going alone. There's nothing wrong with wanting an extra challenge, but if you're struggling to do it alone, try to have some friends join you. It's definitely worth it. Keycard rooms are one of the biggest time wasters of Endless runs ever. They can be very annoying despite their simplicity. There are many ways to combat them though. If you bring Sebastian's scanner, you can make these rooms light work and skip a ton of searching, which saves you energy and time. You can also bring code breachers, as they are by far the quickest way to skip keycard rooms. If none of these resources are possible, it's crucial to know how to be able to find a keycard fast if you're forced to. Keep an ear out for the buzzing sound that keycards make, along with the death mode symbol they show when chiming. This clip from my previous video shows you exactly what that looks like. And now we're on to the endgame Endless tips. By now, if you made it to Blackout, which is door 400 onwards, you likely know what you're doing. Congratulations on making it this far, first off. But now that you're here, what in the world is happening? Blackout is part of Endless's effort to make the game harder on you as you progress. In Blackout, every single room is dark. Expect lots of squiddles. There will be no flickers, and all entities come as if you were in Ridge in a regular run, out of nowhere and with little heads up, if any. This means enemies like Blitz and Pandemonium can be a lot more dangerous, especially if you are not prepared. In order to succeed in Blackout, you must have resources ready, especially light sources that stand a chance against squiddles. You should not be using lanterns, and if you're using a blacklight, you must have batteries. Doing it without proper light is possible, but challenging, especially when you need to find lockers. Your resource conserving should all build up to this part of the attempt. Do not underestimate how much the difficulty spikes in this section, or how much more nervous you will be. Building off of the last tip, your pacing matters a lot in Blackout, but it also depends on what you're going for. If your goal is door 500 for example, you're basically forced to take it slow so that you don't lose your run to a costly mistake. If you're seeking higher numbers like door 1000, you can't really afford to go slow because you already have to put a lot of time into that anyways. This means you need deep room knowledge and skills with dealing with entities so that you're able to still progress quickly while still being prepared for any entities. The best thing to do, despite your pacing, is to make the first thing you do upon entering a new room, keeping a mental map of every single locker in that room and its location. You should also be remembering the locker locations of the previous room, so if a front angler spawns or if you find no lockers in the next room, you're still prepared. If you ever end up forgetting, or if this is too much to remember, then it doesn't hurt to wait by lockers for an entity to pass by before progressing. You must choose pacing that you are comfortable with, so going long distances in this mode is sustainable. And make sure that the pace accounts for any possible landmines, squiddles, fake doors, or environmental hazards such as pits, so you don't get screwed over. This tip is mandatory for anyone seeking to go beyond door 500. You must begin memorizing room types. If you're dedicated to this game or Endless in general, you're likely to see every single room that exists in this game multiple times, sometimes even multiple times in the same run. You should be able to look at a room for half a second and already know where the next door is and where any possible locker locations are. This is crucial for being able to think quickly on your feet in case something unexpected happens. Memorizing the specific rooms automatically happens over time, but you must put a heavy emphasis on it if you're seeking to establish a truly impressive Endless record. Watch others' runs, play a lot yourself, and study each room type so that you can effectively do this. Building off the last tip as well, there are certain room types that you need to be cautious of, especially in Blackout. Remember, as we've covered, Blackout forces you to rely on audio cues and audio cues alone. This means that any rooms which threaten your ability to listen to these audio cues are direct threats to your survival. This includes the following. The Ridge Catwalk, which includes both entering and leaving this room type, have a relatively loud ambiance that can cover up angler sounds. River Rooms has this rushing sound of water throughout the entire room type as well, which, let's be honest, it is a nightmare for Blackout. And any other room or hazard which produces noise, such as turrets, the Divine, or even landmines, can be easy distractions from crucial audio cues. If you encounter a noise threat, be immediately extra careful, and take the extra time that is needed to jump between lockers and ensure your survival. And now, to end this section, it's time to talk about Death Angel. This is the currently Endless exclusive entity that used to be admin exclusive, but now there is an entire badge dedicated to him. In order for him to spawn, you must activate his pedestal in the room you spawn in before beginning the run. He can spawn as early as door 1, but it's incredibly unlikely. He is almost guaranteed to spawn though once you're at door 450 if he hasn't spawned already. This is signified by the red lighting, exclusive OST, and lockers/doors slamming. This means that if you're already in Blackout and nothing's happened yet, you must be prepared. Thing is, once you've activated him using the pedestal, he will definitely spawn as long as you survive at least 500 doors in one run. And since you get a free revive from him anyways, you may think it doesn't really matter how you die, but I beg to differ. Use Death Angel to your advantage. For instance, if you're low HP such as 10 HP and you're still in Blackout, survive for long enough until Death Angel spawns so that the revive restores you to full HP. If this sort of healing is not needed, simply take advantage of his free revive, because at the end of the day, his minigame is not beatable anymore, so there's no point in battling him. It can be an opportunity to practice Pandemonium, but that's not entirely necessary unless you want that. You'd get the badge anyway. Keep in mind that he can spawn multiple times too, so be prepared to see him throughout your run if you're going the distance and choose to include him. If you don't want to bother with the free healing though, it may be better not to activate his pedestal at all. This is entirely up to you. And now we're on to the advanced strategies. The first is a strategy that many people appear to be sleeping on or maybe just forgetting. Emergency lights, as you hopefully know, activate in a room if you spend more than 40 seconds in them. If you didn't know that, all good, but now you know. These lights are still part of the Hate on Black side in Endless, and they still work beyond Blackout. This means that if you're specifically struggling in a room, you could just choose to hug a locker or remain in a safe spot and wait for emergency lights to turn on without opening any more doors. This way you can see everything in a room and use it to gather your bearings before progressing. It's a nice way to guarantee that you're prepared in a room if you're super close to door 500 for example. Don't forget that emergency lights exist and use them to your advantage if needed. The next advanced strategies involve the use of the Post-Mortem Game Pass. There are so many ways to use this to your advantage, it's not even funny. For instance, you can use the simple benefits of the brief speed boosts, light recharges, and orbs of light to aid progression, but you can also take things a little bit further. See, Post-Mortem Ghosts essentially have free roam. They can travel to any currently open door, including up ahead and behind, and since they, of course, can't die, their abilities can be used as an advantage. Take this scenario as an example, which was a real scenario that happened in my attempts. I was playing Endless and I had my friend join me. Once Blackout started, I needed help hearing audio cues and knowing when entities spawned since I didn't have headphones. My friend, as a Post-Mortem Ghost, would go all the way behind me to the furthest unopened door. Why? All anglers, aside from the obvious front angler exception, spawn behind you. This means that if my friend is as far behind as he is able to be, he can tell me immediately when an angler spawns, since he can literally watch the entity spawn. This makes it easy for him to call it out for me. Doesn't this sound amazing? This is literally a third imaginary friend. Just keep in mind that you can't revive after becoming a ghost, but definitely make use of this strategy if you're desperate, because it literally carried me. With no exaggeration, Imaginary Friend is goated. People hate an Imaginary Friend, but goodness me, it is such a carry in Endless and any run in general. Although in order for them to be a carry, you have to have a more advanced understanding of how they actually work. You see, both Imaginary Friends, including Red and Blue, call out when anglers are coming, but not everything they say actually correlates to a present danger. For example, Imaginary Friends like to say a lot of phrases that are basically just red herrings, which in other words just means that they're saying things to scare you and make you think there's a threat, when in reality there's literally nothing. It's an imaginary threat. So you need to make sure you're able to understand which phrases are actually correlating to a threat and which phrases are just there to scare you. This screenshot from my previous video shows you exactly which phrases actually correlate to an angler. Make sure to memorize them. Once you have memorized them, this is the most free way to have a heads up for literally any node monster. It has saved me personally from Pinky more times than I can count, and it is a godsend in Endless when there is no flicker. I personally consider it a flicker replacement for all parts of this mode. Just like death mode being turned on, I consider the Imaginary Friends an essential add-on to your Endless experience so that you have an easier time. Make sure that you know what you're doing in this regard so that you're even more prepared for the harder parts of Endless. Now that we're towards the end of this guide, I wanted to give some meaningful tips to end on before concluding. The first one is a bit about the luck aspect of this challenge. Endless has a large amount of room types you may need to pass through, along with, of course, the entities themselves. This means that, unfortunately, there can be some occasions where luck can completely and utterly screw you over. If this happens, don't let it get you down. It's part of the process, and the better you get, the more likely you can survive even in the occasions where bad luck attempts to end your run. Aside from that, let secret rooms be your motivator, as I mentioned before. It's very easy to get secret rooms in Endless because there's so much doors that can have a room spawn in them that is originally rare. I literally got my wife, the Mindscape, and the back rooms in one attempt during my runs. There are so many more rooms you could get. See what rooms you may come across and tell me so that I know you've made it this far in the video. What's the rarest room you've encountered in Pressure? Share below in the comments. The last tip I'll leave you guys on, which I think is a very wise tip, is to let dying be your teacher. This may sound like a grim tip, but it really isn't. It just means that if you ever make a mistake that ends your run, learn from that mistake. Treat every death as a learning experience. If you do this, then that adds even more purpose for each attempt and gives you a much better edge to succeed in Endless. It also means that you're constantly improving, which is crucial for a game like this. You got this. Don't let any death keep you from progressing. And that's it. I hope this guide has been helpful and can serve as a jumpstart for you as you begin Endless attempts. And even if you're already knowledgeable about Endless, I hope this video has been entertaining for you. I'm pumping out pressure videos constantly, and I'm constantly working on videos every day. Feel free to tell me down below what guides or other pressure videos you'd like to see next. Subscribe to not miss future videos, and consider joining my Discord server, which is linked in my description, to talk with other pressure players and share your pressure successes. Either way, with that aside, thank you for watching. Until we cross paths again, live well and have an amazing day.